Now, the shock of a diagnosis of dementia for her father, Ken Meehan, caused fashion designer Deborah Veale and her family great distress, obviously. Who would help them to care for him as his condition deteriorated, and who would support them during this challenging time in their lives?
Well, St Joseph's is a dementia-specific care home in Shankill in County Dublin, and is the only home in Ireland totally and solely dedicated to caring for people living with all stages of dementia.
Deborah joins us now to tell us about the care her father is receiving in St Joseph's and why she's heavily involved in fundraising for the centre. Good morning, Deborah. You're very welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Tell us about your wonderful father.
So he's amazing, very special character, very creative, very in touch with the world, a philosopher, kind, caring, wonderful, and very patient with all of his children.
So I can only imagine the absolute devastation when you hear that word.
Yeah.
Dementia. Now,
Yeah.
you probably had an idea, did you? Had you been seeing some signs or some questions about changes in the behaviour that maybe led you to believe this?
We'd seen slowly little things, but actually he'd always been quite creative and absent-minded, so sometimes you just would put it down to that. Really, I think when, you know, as a family, most people, they never really wrap their heads around this. You're always behind the curve with it because you don't really know an awful lot about it. And that's part of why we're doing what we're doing, to raise the awareness. Because it's such a huge emotional shock for a family to face.
Professionally, he was an architect.
Yes.
And that requires an enormous amount of thought and precision.
Precision.
So, well, I can imagine that he would be dreaming and creating and, you know, kind of be in his own world. But then when it actually came to the work and doing all of that sort of stuff, it would have been meticulous. It would have had to have been.
Mathematics, you know.
So a very precise brain. Very
precise brain.
So did you get indications maybe sooner because of that?
Not really. You know, he'd retired and was living in Wexford by the sea in the last beautiful house he created with my mum. So, you know, it really does. And I think every case is very different.
Okay.
So it's very tricky and there's so many different types. His is definitely age-related, and it happens to some people a lot younger.
What age is he now?
So he's 87 now.
87. What was his reaction when he found out that he had dementia?
A slow and really very... you know, he was very gentle with it. So he didn't... I'm not sure of the exact time where he actually realised. And actually, what's subliminal, what's brilliant is that St Joseph's kind of came in and helped us look after that transition period.
We mentioned there, actually, in the introduction that you, when you finally came to the conclusion, OK, this is the problem, now we need to do something. The next question is, where do we go? Who do we get help from?
Exactly.
And there wouldn't be an enormous amount of support out there.
No, no. And I think because the numbers are growing so quickly, I mean, I think 11 people every day are diagnosed, that the system isn't there for it, OK? However, St Joseph's, which is fundamentally private, through Veale, they are the only specific dementia care homes. Otherwise, they're attached to different facilities. So there was daycare, which is a wonderful thing to sort of help people become, I suppose, acclimatised to what was institutional care. And which is now becoming much more of a home-specific. And that's what we've been trying to do with that. The butterfly method came in. So when I first went to St Joseph's, it was an institution, whereas now we have different lodges. People are at the same stage so that they're less frightened by what they see, perhaps. You know, it's a very
There, I suppose, the patients, people getting care, are less frightened. For the family, I can only imagine, are they less frightened? Because I can't imagine that day bringing your dad to a centre like that.
You know what, it was a very gentle transition. I can't say that enough, how they helped us to do that. But having said that, it's still a huge shock. And actually, I really do firmly believe people are, myself included, is scared of mental health issues and things happening. So, you know, a lot of stuff that happens we never really see until we're in that situation.
Had you discussed with him sort of the future and how the illness would progress and what kind of care he might want or need?
No, not really, because we were living in it, and so he transitioned in that way. So we went from daycare to you know, and there are obviously very different stages, but they happen for very different people at different times.
So how did it change him?
You know what, it actually didn't really. Fundamentally, same person, just the skills became less and less, and, you know, it didn't change him. He remained the most gentle, gorgeous person, you know.
So, God forbid this has to happen.
Yes.
Is this the best way to have it happen?
Without a shadow of a doubt. Until we find what we're going to help cure this, this approach is the right way, because it really does help. You know, I can't say enough about the people who work in St. Joseph's. I don't have to name check the whole lot of them, but like they're just incredible. Sinead, Tina, the whole gents, all of them. You know, they're not just looking after the people who are there, they're actually dealing with families who are coming in all the time.
Is there any guilt, I wonder, when you have to...
Yes, there is.
There is. When you have to sort of recognise, look, we can't care for him at
Yeah,
home
no,
anymore.
absolutely there is, but I think it becomes a security issue as well. That's the biggest...
I know, we all feel we should be able to take care of our own, but then there's a limit to our skills. Look, I'm sure there are thousands of people around the country listening to you this morning, and they will know exactly... your situation or a version of it. You talked about St. Joseph's. It's not funded.
No.
Has to raise all its own money, either through a fair deal or through fundraisers. You decided you wanted to do something about it.
Yes.
You went to your buddies in the fashion industry because people will know, of course, Deborah's one of our leading fashion designers. You launched 3 years ago and you got Philip Tracy to help you.
We did.
With the very first one.
It was amazing.
Which is extraordinary. I'm just thinking, we were looking at about 27 of his hats at the Royal Wedding there recently.
Incredible.
You did very well with that. You went again last year, you're going again this year, and you're being helped by?
Paul Costello was coming. It's great to have a star come over. And such amazing Irish talent throughout the world. It's lovely to bring somebody home to show. Not that they need any help, but it's a lovely thing. And also, Mark, you're right, the generosity of the fashion industry, unbelievable. Everybody from, you know, Louise Kennedy, Helen Cody, Zoe Jordan's with us this year. But also, it's a fashion event. We're presenting it at a high level. Wonderful Catherine Condell, Lorraine Keynes, emceeing. We are so lucky to have the people on board.
It's meant to be a celebration.
Totally. And it's also, yes, it's a fashion event. Yes, it does raise funds, but it doesn't feel like that. And it's a visual medium, so it's a good way to raise awareness.
Okay, and you're having that in the Conrad?
Having that in the Conrad. We have wonderful, I have to say, sponsors, Cara Pharmacy, Sherry Fitzgerald, I'll be murdered. But these are the people that are helping us to do it, and we couldn't do it otherwise. So, yeah.
And are tickets still available?
Tickets are definitely available on the website.
But the two have sold out the last 2 years.
Oh God, we've been packing them in.
So,
no, I'm not. I actually would love, you know, to. You know, we'll see how it goes. It's what it is, and I'm really proud of the people involved. You know, my friends have been amazing.
How is Dad doing now?
Dad's okay. Dad's okay. Each stage brings its own sort of level where you kind of you get used to that stage that they're at, and you know, selfishly, actually, in some ways, you just want to keep them here as long as possible, comfortable and happy. I'm more kind of concerned about my other family members. That's my wonderful mother, who's just been incredible through the whole thing. So yeah, we're blessed in lots of ways. I have to mention Siobhan Grant, who is the whole reason this happened. I never stood a chance the minute she saw me in there. She was already thinking, how would that work? And we could do this and we could do that. And I was saying, yeah, but we need to do it well. And you know, Mary Leary really helped us as well. The fashion industry is a huge heart.
I'm sure he's looking thinking, that's my girl.
You know, it is the big holy grail in medical science and research at the moment. We talked to the man, Professor David Brown, who was behind Viagra, which actually they were doing for blood pressure.
Yeah.
But he said the two big silver bullets that they're looking for and the holy grails they're chasing are cancer, and they're close on a lot of those.
Yeah.
But Alzheimer's and dementia into the future, it will be the single biggest problem we will face, the human race will face by the end of the century.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you so much.
That's time. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Now, coming up, we're keeping it